little sister is wonderful, but annoying at times. The fact that they stick by your side through all the good and bad times makes having one really amazing. But wait until they start taking what's yours. That is the part that really gets on my nerves. If you've ever been annoyed by your sibling before, click like and subscribe. Don't forget to activate the notification bell to keep updated with fascinating stories like this one. You can call me Julia. My younger sister Nadine and I are only 2 years apart. Although we're siblings, we don't look anything alike. I took after our mom, while she looks like the female version of our dad. Since I'm the one telling the story, I'd say I'm the prettier sister. We also had different personalities. Nadine was very outgoing, while I was more reserved. What we did have in common were the things that we liked. We were both chocoholics. We loved the same style in fashion, and unfortunately, we had the same taste in men. But I didn't know about that until the Brendan incident happened. It started when I was in my freshman year in college. One of the minor subjects all students needed to take was general chemistry. That was where I met Brendan. He immediately caught my attention on the first day of class. He asked if he could take the seat next to mine, and when I saw him, it was as if Cupid struck an arrow into my heart. His sun-bleached blonde hair and his deep blue eyes really attracted me. Of course, I told my sister Nadine, who was still in her junior year of high school at the time, about the gorgeous guy I met in chem class. We were very close and didn't keep secrets from each other, so I never left out any details about Brendan. I told her everything. Over the course of the semester, Brendan and I got close with each other. He noticed that I was struggling with the subject and he offered to tutor me. We met at a cafe every night where he patiently taught me the concepts discussed in class. I loved our study dates and my affection for Brendan kept growing. Many times I wanted to tell him how I felt, but as I had said, I'm somewhat reserved. I was too shy to confess to him, so I waited and hoped that he'd take the initiative. I contented myself with admiring the large-framed photo of him hanging on my room. Nadine would laugh at me and tease me every time she'd see me hugging Brendan's photo. "Why don't you just tell him how you feel, sis?" Nadine would often ask, but I'd tell her I'm too timid to do it. During the last day of chem class, I decided that I would finally tell Brendan how I felt. After class, I told him I wanted to thank him for tutoring me and invited him to have dinner with me. We agreed to meet up at this famous casual dining restaurant near the university. When night came, I dressed to impress and even arrived 15 minutes earlier than the agreed time. I was surprised to see that Brendan was already there. I sweetly smiled and walked to him. He gazed to my direction, but his eyes darted past me. He smiled and stood, but Brendan wasn't looking at me. He was staring at someone behind me. I turned to look at who it was and was absolutely stunned when I saw Nadine. We both walked to the table I reserved. "Nadine, what are you doing here?" I was so confused. "You didn't tell her yet?" Brendan asked. "No, not yet," Nadine answered. "Tell me what?" I asked. I had a bad feeling about where this conversation was leading. "Nadine and I are dating," Brendan said. His words were like knives that stabbed my heart. "What? Since when?" I asked. "Just last week," Brendan answered. I didn't know how to react. I felt my cheeks burn and tears welled in my eyes, but I tried to stop them from falling. I left right away. I felt so betrayed. When Nadine arrived home, I confronted her about it. "How could you do this to me? You know how I felt for Brendan all along. How did you even meet him?" Nadine explained that everything I told her about Brendan made her fall in love with him too. She also said that she hid her feelings from me since she didn't really expect that she'd ever meet him in person. However, about a month ago, Brendan joined her and some of her friends on an out-of-town trip they took over one weekend. It just so happened that Brendan was the brother of one of her friends' boyfriends, and that they kind of hit it off during their trip, and after a few weeks, Brendan confessed his love to her, and she accepted. After that, I have not been on speaking terms with Nadine. It has been several months, but I still feel so upset. Yeah, Nadine apologized, but I'm not in a place where I can accept it. If you were me, what would you do? Leave your thoughts in the comment section below.